Sup? Hello everyone, I'm Pollination, your international insectoid drag queen for tonight. Can I get a shout out from anyone that's been to a drag act before? Oh, shit. So, those of you who have been to drag before will know it's full of intellectual humour, fantastic fashion, and killer dance moves. You're getting none of that tonight. So Polly was born on a field season of mine. I'm a bee biologist by trade, allegedly. She was born during field work. Bet shitting in a hole seems extra glamorous to some of you now, doesn't it? Eat it. Fieldwork's a funny thing to us ecologists. I'm in a room full of mostly ecologists, about one errant particle physicist, again, allegedly, and a wayward mathematician. I think we can all admit that 90% of our work goes on just finding field sites that most resemble a holiday. You're allowed to admit it, the funders are in the room, as far as I'm aware. For instance, I recently just spent some time writing a 4-page proposal insisting the best place to do honeybee research next year is in the Bahamas in summer. Some of you rapidly reassessing whether you're going to talk to me at this conference now, aren't you? Don't even get me started on the marine turtle and coral reef people amongst you. We know you don't care about them that much. You just like the tan. So in my recent adventures of looking for exciting new field sites in which to apply my craft, I came across one that really did catch my attention. It was called Booty Booty. Never have my interests aligned so exactly, I can tell you that. So Booty Booty National Park, New South Wales, Australia. Shout out to our resident Aussie in the... means plenty of honey. It's from a native Aboriginal language, and the Aboriginal languages often use reduplication of words as an intensifier. Hence, plenty of honey or intense booty. So I'm thinking, brilliant. I can finally be paid. It can finally be my job to get all up in that booty. Because the last time that was true, Craigslist still had a personal section. Still looking for contract work, boys. So I was assessing Booty Booty as a potential site in which to, ply my craft once again. But it did occur to me that I'm not exactly equipped for the field if it gets a bit too intense. Jurassic World really lied when they said that you can chase after your study species in heels. Am I right, ladies and gays? Unrealistic expectations there of what a person should perform like in the field. And believe me, I never go below 6 inches. Oh, well, 4. We'll see how the night goes. So I thought, well, it is Australia, and we all know that it takes a lot more to survive there than just a heavy hairsprayed wig and some faith. So I thought I will look up the warning signs around Booty Booty National Park. The Googling was most fun, let me tell you. The first one was Booty Booty, one way only. I've heard that one before. And let me tell you, it's not usually really that true. Sometimes you can go up at once, 2 at a time, side by side if you're careful, so I wasn't so concerned. You know. But the second one did catch my attention a little bit. It said, Booty Booty, stick to marked trail, prickly underbrush. Okay, that one I should listen to. Have you ever tried to put lip liner on with a rash around your mouth from some prickle? Not to be recommended. She doesn't look so sweet now, does she? She might study honey, but she's hella salty. So, speaking of fieldwork and prickly underbrush, I'm also an infectious disease biologist, so my colleagues come back with all sorts of exciting stories of dengue and yellow fever, leishmaniasis and Ebola. But go back 2 years, and what did I come back from the field with? Crabs, and not the aquatic kind. Just as a shout out, does anyone here know where we as a species gained crabs from? What was their zoonotic origin? Gorillas. I always thought this a bit unusual, but then on my last field season I forgot my razors, and after a month of not being able to shave, I looked at myself naked in the mirror and thought, understandable. This program's brought to you by Gillette. Not really, no one's willing to sponsor me to do this. Obviously. Unfortunately, the wee beasties weren't even in my prickly underbrush. So where else can one get pubic lice? Useful information for some of you, I guarantee. It turns out the most common secondary location is your eyelashes. Fortunately, I'm protected from that with 3 inches of false eyelash glue and 17 pounds of waterproof mascara. So, where they were actually living was in my belly button hair. If anyone saw me at ESA 2017 and I was looking a mite twitchy, now you know why. Fortunately, I think I might get a parasitology paper out of this, which I think after tonight's performance we'll all agree my career will need every bloody damn paper it can get if it's to survive. Fortunately, one nice thing that came out of this sexual transmission event, bar the sex, was that it really felt like it brought me closer to my studied species of honeybees. They suffer from ectoparasitic mite-like things. I was suffering from an ectoparasitic mite-like thing. They suffer from elevated sexual transmitted infections. I suffer from elevated sexual transmitted infections. I can get some, I promise, with the wig off. Unfortunately, it doesn't always occur to me why a society where 99% of the population remains virgins, and no, I'm not talking about the computational ecology sig, can sustain... Oh dear. If my ex-supervisor Drew Purvis is in the house, I'm so sorry. It doesn't occur to me how they can sustain that, but like with most things in the world, it all comes down to the queens. So queen honeybees, on their first forage out of the hive, their foray, they can mate, or they're looking to in fact, mate with up to 70 boys in 3 days. Just think about that. 70 pairs of testes drained by one queen in 3 days. In social insect biology, we call this a nuptial flight. In social gay biology, we just call it Pride Weekend. Visit San Francisco, you really won't be disappointed. This does mean that the boy sperm, the drone sperm, is quite a valuable resource in our research. I will never forget the first time a professor looked at me and said, "So have you done sperm extractions in the lab?" This feels like a trap. This is not a university disciplinary hearing I need to be put to, my God. Fortunately, they mate for artificial insemination experiments. During this time, we call the drones poppers, because when they mate, their testes explode. Again, not a question my knowledge of poppers I was willing to receive from a 75-year-old supervisor. Those of you that got that joke are who I'm partying with tonight, so do come up. Oh dear. The drones usually hang around in what we call drone congregation areas. These are where the queens go for their 3-day massive party before they're sent back to the hive to fight to the death and then lay all their eggs. If you see a drone congregation area, it's quite the sight to behold. They're very frantic, moving about, huge bulging eyes looking for the next opportunity, buzzing relentlessly, very restless. If you've ever done 7 lines of cocaine and hit up a Vegas gay bar, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You're not that cool, don't pretend. Instead, I'd recommend looking at the BES staff at the end of an annual general meeting. Am I right, Chris? All right, guys, and with that, thank you very much for entertaining me. Have a wonderful rest of your annual general meeting. I've been Pollination, your international insectoid drag queen. You can follow Polly on Instagram at Dr. Bumblebitch. And you can follow her caretaker, Lewis, on Twitter at Bees and Baking. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Pollination.